Eight major banks. Eight major banks to join the account aggregator network. On September 2nd, 2021, iSpirit Foundation virtually launched the industry-wide account aggregator ecosystem go live and announced the joining of eight major banks: State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, IDFC First Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, HDFC Bank, Indus India Bank, and Federal Bank under account aggregator network as financial information providers. Eight banks and the GST and Goods and Service Tax network have received the in-principle approval from the Reserve Bank of India to join the account aggregator network. Who are account aggregators? The account aggregators are the data access fiduciaries. It will be useful for the exchange of the financial information from the financial information providers to the financial information users in a safe and secure manner with a due consent from the customer. Account aggregator network will not store and read the customer data. In turn, it will act as a pipeline between the financial information providers and financial information users. The financial information providers may include banks, mutual funds, insurance companies, and tax authorities like GST, etc. The financial information users could be banks, wealth advisories, investment firms, etc. Security. The account aggregator will store the encrypted data till the process is completed, and after which the data will be erased from the account aggregator database. This ensures data security. If all the financial institutions are included in the account aggregator ecosystem, it will facilitate access to large amounts of financial data within seconds. How actually an account aggregator will work? See, the financial information providers, it's and financial one at one end, and financial information users are at other end. Financial information providers like bank, mutual funds, insurance providers, tax or GST platform. Financial information users like flow-based credit, personal finance management, wealth management, robo advisories. In between, there are financial data access fiduciaries, NBFC account aggregator registry. In June 2016, RBI has approved a new class of non-banking financial companies called NBFCs called as an account aggregators to facilitate concentrated share of financial information in the real time. RBI has also announced the account aggregator framework. RBI gives licenses and governs the rules for account aggregators. Every company seeking the registration with an RBI and NBFC RBI as an NBFC of account aggregator should have at least net owned fund of not less than 2 crore or such an higher amount as RBI may specify. Current and upcoming account aggregators like Neobank FI, non-bank lenders such as Bajaj Finance and DMI Finance are also joining as account aggregator network. FinView, OneMoney, NESL, and CAMS FinServe and already live as account aggregator. PhonePe, Perfios, and Yodlee also have received in-principle approval from the RBI to join as account aggregator network. Uh, re- Recently, RBI has included street vendors a part of PM Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Swanidhi PM Swanidhi scheme in Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities as beneficiaries under Payment Infrastructure Development Fund scheme (PIDF) scheme. If you look at the RBI in 1935, April 1, 1935 is its establishment. Headquarters is at Mumbai, Maharashtra. Governor is Shaktikanta Das. Deputy governors like Mahesh Kumar Jain, Michael Debavatra Patra, M. Rajeshwar Rao, and T. Ravishankar. Nigeria's central bank tie-up with BitInc to launch its own cryptocurrency. Nigeria's central bank has tied up with BitInc to launch its own cryptocurrency called eNaira. Nigeria's central bank announced the partnership with BitInc, the global fintech company, as a technical partner for the launch of its own cryptocurrency eNaira by the end of in 2021. In February 2021, actually, Nigeria barred banks and financial institutions from dealing in or facilitating transactions in cryptocurrencies. After which, Central Bank of Nigeria has announced its plan of launching eNaira. In eNaira will act as a wallet and enable the customers to save their existing funds in their bank account. It acts as a wallet basically. The cryptocurrency will improve financial inclusion and enable cheaper and faster remittance inflows. If you look at the world's first central bank digital currency, in March 2021, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank (ECCB) issued the Dcash, which became the world's first retail central bank digital currency (CBDC) to be publicly issued with a formal currency notion. The Dcash was designed and developed by BitInc in partnership with Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to launch Dcash. BitInc is basically Caribbean, Barbados, and it is in Barbados. BharatPe partners with Axis Bank. This BharatPe has a fintech company for merchants, has partnered with the Axis Bank, a third largest private sector bank in India, entered into a strategic partnership. See, BharatPe is a fintech company. for merchants. And Axis Bank is a bank. How it entered into a strategic partnership. Under the partnership, the Axis Bank will act as an acquiring bank. This Axis Bank will act as an acquiring bank for Bharat Pay's point of sale business, Bharat Swipe, and provide acceptance of debit and credit cards for merchants associated with the Bharat Pay. Uh, Payment business of Axis Bank, with an installed base of over nearly 6,52,000 POS terminals. Axis Bank is the third largest POS acquiring bank. Third largest Axis Bank is the third largest POS acquiring bank in the payments acceptance business in India. It's currently processes about nearly 19,000 crore of payments per month. So, by the end of financial year 2021, Bharat Pay has achieved a transaction processed value of TPV, transaction processed value of 2 billion on POS terminals, and it's at a target of 6 billion targets per value processed value by financial year FY 2022. It tends to increase its point of sale machines to nearly 3 lakh by the end of financial year 21. So, 3 lakh point of sale machines must be acquired, must be increased by the Bharat Pay. So, how it can increase? It can increase only with the help of the Axis Bank point of sale terminals. So, that is why the strategic partnership between the Bharat Pay and Axis Bank. If you look at the Bharat Swipe, that is the POS business it is in. It was launched by the Bharat Pay in 2020 as India's first zero rental it is India's first zero rental and zero merchant discount rate MDR POS machine. Zero rental and zero merchant discount rate POS machine with an installed base of nearly 1 lakh across 16 cities. Bharat Swipe is processing around nearly 1400 crore per month. See how much is the Axis Bank is doing. Axis Bank is nearly has an 19,000 crore or nearly 20,000 crore per month, whereas nearly one fourth or 1500 crore per month is the Bharat Pay MDR. Bharat Pay POS machine transactions per day value and total transactions processed value. So in 2019, Minister of Finance waived the MDR charges and set the zero transaction charges on the transactions through RuPay and Unified Interface. This, in 2019, Finance Ministry MDR charges is set to zero transaction charges on the transactions through RuPay and UPI platforms. So Axis Bank made a multi-year agreement with Amazon Web Services. See, Amazon Axis Bank has already made a multi-year agreement with Amazon Web Services, the cloud computing arm of Amazon, to build a portfolio of new digital finance services with the technology changes and new payment modes for better banking experiences to the customers. If you look at the Axis Bank, it's 1994 commenced operations. Headquarters is in Mumbai, and MD and CEO of Axis Bank is Amit Chaudhary. Axis Bank is Amit Chaudhary, and the tagline "Badti ka naam zindagi, बढ़ती का बढ़ती का नाम जिंदगी." And Bharat Pay, it is a payment systems fintech company. Headquarters is in New Delhi. CEO or co-founder Anshir Grover. If you look at the Federal Bank launched a credit card in association with Visa. See, this Federal Bank is of Kerala has launched a very different. This Federal Bank launched a credit card in association with Visa. Various variants of credit cards in association with Visa to serve the needs of the different segments of the customers. Currently, the card is being offered to existing customers of the bank alone. The card has three variants such as Celesta, targeted at high net worth individuals, Imperio for family oriented customers, and Signet for young professionals. The credit card will be offered with the lowest annual percentage rates and dynamic APRs starting from 0.49% per month, around 5.8 to around 5.8% per annum. The credit cards will be issued by the bank on the basis of digital first card approach, in which the customers are enabled to avail the card and use immediately in the Fed Mobile. The Federal Bank mobile banking application, delivery and physical card in the due course. And see, you can install the credit card and Fed Mobile. You can use immediately in the Fed Mobile, and till the delivery of the physical card is in due course. The bank also plans to launch various variants of the RuPay credit card in association with the National Payments Corporation of India Limited. This Federal Bank RuPay credit card has also been issued with the help of the NPCI, and now it is going to different variants of the credit cards using the Visa. Now NPCI has completed using the RuPay credit card, and now the Federal Bank is started to join the Visa. is three variants of credit cards: Celeste, Imperial, and Signet. Federal Bank. In 1931, Travancore Federal Bank of Limited, also know the history of the Federal Bank. It is basically of the origin of Kerala. Travancore Federal Bank of Limited, 1931, changed to the Federal Bank Limited on December 1949. Your perfect banking partner is based in Kerala. So HDFC Bank became the first Indian lender to list additional Tier 1 bonds on Gujarat and Gift City International Gift IFSC. That is, HDFC became the first Indian lender to list additional Tier 1 bonds on Gujarat International FinTech City Gift International Finance Services Center IFSC Gift IFSC. HDFC Bank has listed nearly 1 billion, 3.4, 1 billion, 3.7% of the foreign currency additional Tier 1 bonds on Gift IFSC. Gift City is basically a stock exchange like platform. International foreign currency and investments are the listing of the companies can be happened here. So the company can raise the investments either from the Gift City or through the international markets. Uh, so HDFC Bank Limited has listed nearly $1 billion foreign currency 81 bonds on the Gift International Financial City. So far, global securities market, the primary platform, $1 billion. The HDFC Bank has been listed. That is, it has been raised of the foreign currency, 3.5% of the total foreign currency, through the additional Tier 1 bonds of the through the international gift city of IFSC Gujarat. So for global securities market, the primary market platform India NX International Exchange has received over 55 billion medium term notes. See, so far the global securities market, the primary market platform of India, INX International Exchange, India International Exchange, India International Exchange has received over 55 billion medium-term notes and over 28 billion of bond listings since its establishment in 2018. The India Index, the Bombay Stock Exchange International arm, is India's first international exchange set up at the Gift City IFSC. SBM India partners with OneCard to launch mobile-based credit card mobile first. In order to target tech-savvy population, SBM Bank of India, that is State Bank of Mauritius and India, on September 2021 has partnered with OneCard to launch a mobile-based credit card, namely Mobile First, which will be offered through an app. This launch will be a part of the bank's smart banking mission, which acknowledges the expansion of digitalization in India. Smart banking mission. So. In this partnership, the OneCard will utilize its Visa technology and global acceptance. This credit card will be powered by Slick, a smart OneCard app. Slick, for the first time ever, gives the customer full control of their credit card, that is spends, rewards, limits, payments and more. In 2019, OneCard launches OneScore app, following people to monitor and manage their credit health. Now, with the use of this app, a user can easily apply for the card digitally, unlike the traditional credit cards. Besides fulfilling a host of eligibility criteria and documentation, it should be noted that as per the research and markets, India credit card industry is expected to grow at an compounded annual growth rate of more than 25% during 2020 to 25 due to buy now pay later approach. If you look at the OneCard, Anurag Sinha, headquarters is in Pune, Maharashtra. If you look at the SBM, State Bank of Mauritius, is the first foreign bank to receive a banking license from the RBI. Banking license it has got from the RBI, and to establish a universal banking business in India through wholly owned subsidiary mode. Siddharth Rath, Mauritius, Siddharth Rath, and Mumbai, Maharashtra. It is based in headquarter. And Project Dunbar, Central Bank of Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, Project Dunbar, Central Bank of Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, etc., and South Africa. That is Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, and South Africa. Or Dunbar, Project Dunbar, basically Australia, South Africa, Singapore, and Malaysia to test its central bank digital currencies for international settlements. The central banks of Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, and South Africa have launched Project Dunbar, under which these quad banks will test the use of central bank's digital currency CBDC for international settlements. This project will be led by a Singapore Central Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub. The project aims to develop prototype shared platforms for multi CBDC settlement that fulfills the needs and requirements of central banks and financial institutions. See, participating central banks: Reserve Bank of Australia, Bank Negara Malaysia, Monetary Authority of Singapore, and South African Reserve Bank. This quad will conduct a cross-border payment trial using central bank digital currencies to assess if this allows transactions to be settled more cheaply and easily. This multi central bank digital currency platforms will allow financial institutions to transact directly with each other in the digital currencies issued by participating central banks, which will eliminate the need for intermediaries and also decrease the time and cost of transactions. It should be noted that a separate BIS-led project exploring CBDCs for cross-border payments is also underway, involving the central banks from China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and UAE. Separate BIS-led banking international settlements, Bank of International Settlements led project exploring central bank digital currencies for cross-border payments is also underway, involving China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and UAE. The results of this project will be published by 2022, but this platform prototypes will be debut at Singapore FinTech Festival in November 2021. UCO Bank partners with this UCO Bank partners with Fisdom. United Commercial Bank partnered with Fisdom, a financial sector company that specializes in fund management, to offer wealth management services and products to its customers. Under this collaboration, UCO Bank customers can now make seamless investments in the mutual funds through its M Banking Plus app. Investments in mutual funds through its M Banking Plus app. This partnership has enabled high quality wealth management services on all the mutual fund schemes. It is a fully digital mode to the customers of the UCO Bank. The collaboration between the FISDM and the UCO Bank will focus on enabling larger scale facilitation and distribution of all mutual fund schemes. The fully digital paperless investment feature will allow the customers to redeem investments or track fund performance through UCO Bank M Banking Plus mobile app. This UCO Bank will all the customers can redeem the investments or track the fund performance through UCO Bank M Plus M Digital Plus M Banking Plus app. Uh, in August 2021, central government extended the tenure of Atul Kumar Goyal, Managing Director and CEO of UCO Bank, for 2 years. Now the FISDM, if you look at the FISDM, that is wealth management company, Subramanya SV. It is a Bangalore-based company. UCO Bank Atul Kumar Goyal, 2 years extension has been got in August 2021 by the central bank. It's a public sector company. Honors your trust, UCO Bank, based in Kolkata, West Bengal, 1943. And if you look at the Bank of next news is the Bank of America and the MAS um, uh, assigned services. Financial services enters co-lending arrangement for MSME loans. The Bank of India has entered a co-lending arrangement with MAS Financial Services Limited for the MSME to offer micro, small, medium enterprises loans. Under this partnership, the Bank of India will utilize the reach of the MAS Financial Services to build the MSME portfolio. The strategic co-lending arrangement was announced on the occasion of 116th Foundation Day of the Bank of India. The co-lending, what actually the co-lending is? Co-lending was introduced by RBI to increase the credit flow to unserved and underserved sectors by unlisting NBFC coverage, by utilizing the NBFC coverage to informal sector, that is banking services through the NBFC coverage indirectly. Co-lending. So, the Bank of India marked the celebration of its 116th Foundation Day by celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Bank of India was established on 1906 and the bank was nationalized 116th Foundation Day. So, the bank was nationalized on 1969. If you look at the Bank of India, headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Antanu Kumar Das, Bank of India. Relationships beyond banking. MAS Financial Services Limited. It is based in Gujarat. Darshana Pandya, Director and CEO. CMD is Kamlesh Gandhi. Darshana Pandya, Director and CEO, 1995. If you look at the SEBI allows a T+1 settlement cycle on an optional basis from January 1, 2021. Securities Exchange Board of India will intimate the T+1 today plus 1 settlement cycle for equity transactions from January 1, 2022, under which Indian stock markets can transfer shares and money into clients' accounts in under 24 hours. It is not mandatory for the stock exchanges to go with the T+1 settlement cycle. Uh, they are flexible to offer either T+1 settlement cycle. The current stock markets allow T+2 settlement cycle, which which takes 48 hours or more for shares to be transferred into client account in case of purchase deals. This means a seller cannot demand payment for at least 2 days. Those stock exchanges who want to offer T+1 settlement cycle will give 1 month prior notice on the change to all the stakeholders, including the public, and the disseminate on its website. After opting for T+1 settlement cycle for a script, the stock exchanges will have to mandatorily continue with the same for a minimum of 6 months. If the stock exchanges extends to switch back to T+2 settlement cycle, it can do so by giving 1 month advance notice to the market. This decision has been taken on the request of various stakeholders to shorten settlement cycle. To shorten the settlement cycle. Uh, Therefore, SEBI, after the discussions with market infrastructure institutions, stock exchanges, clearing corporations, and depositories, has decided that is market stock exchanges, clearing institutions, and depositories have decided to provide flexibility to stock exchanges with both the options. This is about today's